Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Hey, don't worry. It's not your fault, right? She just needed a little more than basic decency and respect. Today on rSpace, you can do everything right and still get kicked off the ride. My ex, 20 female, cheated on me, 21 male, with a trading friend, 20 male. As the title describes, I was with my partner, female, for 3.5 years, and she cheated with a guy I knew for 2. I met this guy through a mutual sport we played. We became friends through our passion for it. At the time, I had been dating my ex for just over a year. We'll call her Jane and Joe for simplicity. Oftentimes, I would bring Jane to my training sessions, only because she was insistent on being there. But after coming for roughly a year, I noticed changes. She would look at him differently, act differently around him, you name it. Joe is one of the dumbest and most simple people I've ever met. He has nothing going for him. I provided safety, loyalty, and opportunity through our relationship. But unfortunately, I went through a pretty bad time. I left the job I was working at due to poor treatment, so I was unemployed for about 2 months. And during that time, I discovered she had been talking to him over social media and meeting up with him behind my back. He would pick her up from our house to take her places, and I never knew. She started going to the gym with him, lunch dates, paddleboarding, watching the sunset on multiple occasions together, and sending intimate pictures of herself to him. I found out about the pictures because she sent them to me and told me she sent them to him. I laid down a very clear boundary. I said if you don't remove him from everything and stop seeing him, then we're done. In return, she turned off her location, started ignoring me more and more, refused to go out or do anything with me, would reject any form of physical affection, no sex, no hand-holding, no kisses, no hugs. At this point, I already knew what was coming. I was helping to train kids and she sent me a message. I'm going out with Joe. I'll be home before you finish. I got home at 7. She never came home and he picked her up as her car was still in the driveway. She did this the night before, but I was unaware of what she was doing. I stayed up, ready and willing to break up with her the second she came through the door. But as you know, she never came home. She messaged me at 11:30 saying, "We need to talk." I already knew it was coming and asked her not to break up with me over social media. I left the house that night, and unbeknownst to me, 30 minutes after I left, Jane and Joe were at my old house, and they spent the night together. Joe chalks this up to protecting her from me. I'm a police officer. I've never hit or laid a finger on anyone. I do not do drugs. I do not drink often. Joe says he slept on the couch, which is complete BS. For more than 6 months, they both went behind my back and did God knows what together. 3 weeks after the breakup, and they are ducking every day, posting with each other on their stories and more. I've had both of them blocked since before that, but I found this out through mutual friends. I have since told them not to update me. Joe tried to get through to me by asking our mutual friends to tell me to unblock him. I told him to F right off. He says he was willing to clear the air and make things right, yet when he shows up to training, he doesn't make eye contact, doesn't speak to me, and is afraid to even come near me alone. Obviously, Jane was checked out way before any of this happened, but almost every day she said she was willing to make an effort for the relationship and work together. We barely argued, never screamed at each other throughout our time together. Instead, when I brought up that she needed to cut Joe off because their friendship was weird, she became defensive and said the usual, "You're insecure, you're acting petty, and you never let me have any friends." Telltale signs of a narcissist cheating, right? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is that if we kept having chats about what we can improve on, and I was the only one ever doing it, why would she put me through a year of uncertainty and hell? Why not just leave me a year ago and F around with F-face? At the end, I asked to meet in person because after 3.5 years, you say bye in person, right? She ignored me for 2 days, saying she didn't want me to hurt her or yell at her in person, which I've stated, I have never in my life done anything like that or even remotely related to anyone I've ever known. After she kept dodging me, I finally had enough. I told her, meet me at the park exactly at 7 p.m. If you don't show up, I'm leaving and blocking you on everything. She didn't respond. I showed up at 6:30, waited 30 minutes, and the second it hit 7, I sent her a message saying, I waited for 30 minutes and you didn't show up. I'm putting the spare keys in the mailbox. Goodbye. She started blowing up my phone through the text saying, You said around 7, not on 7. I told her to reread it, then blocked her on everything. I knew Joe for 2 years through our training. I invited him into my house. We drank together. We went out together. Did a lot together just for him to weasel into my life. Now don't get me wrong. I know Jane is a narcissist and I'm just stupid for not picking up on it earlier. But in the back of my mind, watching those two interact, I knew for the whole time it would happen. I just knew it. Obviously, I'm upset and betrayed right now. It happened only a month ago and it sucks. I've heard all the usual, you'll be fine without her and whatnot. I know I will. Never in my life would I dream of doing something like that to anyone. Joe was going around telling everyone I used to beat her and that I have a drinking problem, but is too scared to talk to me when I'm right in front of him. Obviously, she is 90% of the problem and he's only 10%, but it just blows my mind that people can act like that, especially to their partner and best mate. I have more details if you need them. Cheers. And sorry for poor structure. I'm emotional right now. I specifically want this answered. I just want to know, why not break it off earlier? Why make me sit around wondering where you are and why you can't respect a simple boundary and just drop one person to better our relationship? Why ignore me mentally and physically for so long? Why make me feel like I'm doing everything wrong and that I'm useless and can't do a single thing right? Why make the one person you're meant to love feel like an absolute burden and the worst person ever? Edit 1. When she was doing what she was doing, I made it very clear on 2 occasions to either cut him off or I'll be gone. She would for a day, then straight back to it again. She did this twice. It was after the second time that all this happened. Edit 2. Cheers for the support. I'm not interested in hearing from either of them. I was more looking for the psychology behind it so I can avoid it in the future. You've all given me very good and obvious points and I couldn't be more grateful. I've been quite emotional about the whole thing, but the time to move on is now and I couldn't be happier to do so. Update 1. We have not been split up for even a month and Joe has fully moved in with her. Let the fun begin. He will be cheated on next. Ha! It sounds like she kept stringing you along as long as possible, hoping you wouldn't catch on or maybe even hoping you'd eventually be the one to leave so she wouldn't have to face the consequences of her actions. She was out doing whatever she wanted with someone else and then blaming you for things that weren't your fault. That's not on you, it's on her. Update post. My ex, 20 female, cheated on me, 21 male, with my training partner, 20 male. Update. Long story short, together with this girl for 4 years, cheats on me with mate of 2 years, but I have info. She's pregnant. Has been for 12 weeks, so either before or the same week we broke up, which is hilarious. I knew it would happen, I called it. He has no idea what's about to happen to him. Also, he's been shunned from the gym, lost all his friends, dropped out of the reserves, and now has a kid. This is the greatest thing to have happened to me this year. I couldn't be happier for their downfalls. Update 1. Didn't clear a few things up, so bear with me. Jane and Joe are happy for now. Within 3 months of us being broken up, her and the guy she cheated on me with are living together, posting everywhere on social media, and now have a kid on the way. 0% chance it's mine. To me, for the relationship is built on the grass being greener. But that won't last, and I have money on it that it won't. To me, they have no chance. What they're doing just seems like a desperate attempt to make everyone believe that they are a happy couple, but I know that will quickly fail. Update 2. Got people saying that the reason she cheated on me was because I was too easy. I get that women need constant emotional stimulation or the thrill of whatever the F it is, but I treat my partners as my partner, not some whore I find. Are you not meant to have a soft spot and relieve stress and problems to your partner? I'd honestly pin the reason she cheated on me on her horrible father issues. Lack of masculine role models and discipline for poor actions. Narcissistic manipulation when if something wasn't done exactly her way, it was immediately wrong altogether. Constant need to get her point across, even if it was incorrect, and so much more I could list. Am I really in the wrong here? Because I highly doubt I am. I know no one is perfect, but I never hit her, yelled at her, or treated her poorly. I cooked, cleaned, worked 10-hour days to help support her and more. I don't get it. Can't help but feel disgusted though. This is a harsh thing to have happen. Final update. This is the final update. It's been about 7 months since everything happened. I went through every emotion and learned more than I ever could have from the experience. It may be weird to say, but I think I needed this to happen. Everything I knew as my previous life was violently and abruptly taken away from me. Everything I was familiar with, my routine, and the people who I thought were my friends. During that time, I discovered who really stood by my side. Having everything I was comfortable with be taken away like that really opened my eyes to the world around me. Truth was, I was just a naive person who thought life was all sunshine and rainbows. I thought my life was perfect, and if I lived it that way, then no harm would come to me. But as you know, I was wrong. Good things happen to bad people. Bad things happen to good people. But I'm glad I had the support of who I did during that time. Things might have gone differently. Luckily for me, due to my nature to treat people how I expect to be treated, It wasn't hard for people to naturally take my side and call BS when she tried to spread rumors of me being an abusive alcoholic. Truth is, I didn't have to change a single thing or even defend myself as much as I thought I would have had to. People knew who I was and knew she was lying, and every day I'm thankful for that. In having my old life stripped from me, I think it's exactly what I needed. I'm still so young, 21, and since all of this, my life has really only just begun. I stayed consistent with my training, and now I'm actually winning rounds and competitions. I got a promising new job on the line and a whole list of things I want to achieve in the coming years. It may be immature, but the truth is, they really are losers. I see him at training occasionally, and my mind tells me to yell and scream and be upset, but the truth is, I truly just feel sad for him. I truly can't be bothered to care about them anymore because I have my own life to live and goals to achieve. They destroyed a weak part of me in an attempt to destroy me altogether, but instead they molded someone more dedicated to helping those around him and wanting to do better in every aspect of my life. Funny how that works, how having the most life-altering event thus far can somehow change my whole life's dynamic to want to improve and do better. Although I still struggle to get decent sleep, I thank every day for the people who helped me. The stories I've told don't even scratch the surface of the mental and emotional abuse. For those who are curious, I have heard through the grapevine that she has him wrapped around her thumb. This guy's life is literally over. His family threatens to call the police if he goes back to his family house, and last I heard, she has put on quite a bit. For someone who seemed to care so much about their body image, I find it a little bit funny. I knew the universe would have my back, and the people I never knew I could truly rely on emerged. Every day I'm thankful for that. When all of this started, I was very angry, confused, and frustrated. How I spoke in my last post about them is not a true reflection of me, but an unfortunate attempt to properly process my emotions, though getting it off my chest did help. Speaking like that did not. A rambling mess. I'll try not to give up on love. I know there's someone out there, but until I truly get over this and process my emotional baggage, they will have to wait. Better times are ahead. To think my first post to rant was 153 days ago, at this time, is pretty insane. So much time has gone and by, and I don't have much to show for it. I've pretty much been in survival mode, living off one meal a day, but I think that's okay. I've been eating more and I have much to work towards right now. This was the outcome with a full support network. Those who don't have that, I can only imagine what you must be going through. Please stay strong. There are better times ahead. Thanks for all the support. If you have any questions, just ask and I'll answer the best I can. The whole too easy accusation seems like a way for her to justify her own choices. Honestly, she cheats on you, gets pregnant, and now they're both stuck in this mess. It's not hard to feel vindicated in some way when you see them unraveling. I don't blame you. Cheating is a choice, and no amount of emotional support or being easy would justify it. You did your part, but she couldn't even meet you halfway. You shouldn't have to feel like you're being blamed for not being someone else's emotional fix. Their trauma isn't your responsibility. Ever. What do you think? And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.